the number one problem with Social Security. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I do want to discuss the details of a new study that was released, specifically focused on Social Security and showing the major problems with this program, as there's a lot of big numbers and some shocking information, so let's get into it and talk through all the details of this new study. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and because I am your one and only daily advocate, I'm here for you right by your side each and every day, as that's my dedication, that's my commitment, and that's my promise to you and everybody right here in the community, as it's a very busy, confusing, and uncertain time right now, and I want to be here to help you out in any way that I can, as well as making sure that you're staying updated with all these changes and everything that's being announced right now, as there's a lot going on. So again, thanks so much for joining me. I'm here for you every single day, so please make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss any videos going forward. Let's get into it and talk about this new study that was released showing and exposing the major problems with Social Security, and this is the number one problem that Social Security is facing right now. All right, so let's talk through the details about this. Now, obviously, if you've been watching the videos here on the channel for any length of time now, you've been hearing about all of this detail coming out of Congress and the administration as far as what they want to do to reform this program, because it's going to be insolvent in about 9 years. However, why? Why is that happening in the first place, right? How could they let a program like this that has been around for almost 90 years get into this position? Well, here's what it comes down to, and that is exactly what is focused on in this study. So get this, and I want to share with you all of these statistics and again, all of these details, as there's a lot of things that are going on right now, and this is a major, major problem, but they need to do something about this. All right, so let's rewind all the way back to 1950, okay? So what is that, 73 years ago? 1950 is the details about this. All right, so back in 1950, there was 16 workers for every one retiree that was receiving benefits, right? So that is sustainable. That's no problem. 16 workers out there paying in through Social Security payroll taxes and one retiree. Not bad, right? However, now let's fast forward out to the 1970s through 2010. So that 40-year period of time, that 16 workers that were supporting one retiree went all the way down to 3.3 workers per retiree. Now, is that sustainable? No, not really, okay? So this is where the major problem started. However, now if we continue to fast forward all the way out until the end of 2022, so the end of last year, 2022, that 3.3 workers supporting one retiree, or basically paying in per retiree, now it has dropped down to 2.8 workers for every one retiree, okay? So again, is this a sustainable situation? No, not at all. However, here the study goes on to show that by 2035, it's going to be down at 2.3 workers for every one retiree that's receiving benefits. Again, this is not sustainable, okay? As workers continue to pay in through Social Security payroll taxes into the trust fund, and we have, people that are drawing on benefits, and again, that is great. If you're drawing on benefits, by all means, you've earned those benefits throughout the working years of your life, throughout your entire career, you have earned those benefits. So by all means, you deserve every single penny that you're getting, and probably a lot more than that as well, because we know that right now benefits have not kept up with the real cost of living, and realistically, these benefits should be significantly higher, right? So by all means, this is the major problem that is going on with Social Security. Now get this as well. They found that in the next decade, so starting in 2030, so in about, 7 years or 6.5 years from right now, the next decade, so 2030 through 2040, that 10-year period of time, there's going to be an $8 trillion deficit when it comes to Social Security. Not million, not billion, trillion, $8 trillion deficit. In other words, there's going to be, they're going to need an additional $8 trillion during that 10-year period of time just to maintain the same level of benefits that are going out right now to beneficiaries, okay? This is a major problem, and you can clearly see here, these are some huge numbers that we're dealing with. We're not talking like $8. We're not talking $8,000. We're not even talking 8 million or 8 billion or 80 billion or 800 billion. We're talking $8 trillion. That's a massive, massive amount of money, right? So you can clearly see here, what is the problem and why did this happen? Well, it comes down to some of the details we've been talking about in other videos, and it is the labor participation rate. In other words, the number of people that are actually working. You can clearly see it. 1950, 16 workers for every one retiree. The 70s through 2010, 3.3. The end of 2022, 2.8, and in the next 10 years or so, actually about 12 years or so, it's going to drop by another half a percentage point down to 2.3 workers for every one retiree. Again, that is not sustainable at all. And as we continue out into the future, that number is just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So you can clearly see there's no way. Back in the 50s, when there were 16 workers per retiree, that's fine. That's totally sustainable, right? And even during the 70s and through 2010 at 3.3, that was setting the stage for what we're dealing with right now, right? So it was a small and a slow depletion of the trust fund, and this is what we're dealing with now, right? All of that, basically the neglect for Social Security and how lawmakers were essentially not doing anything to this program and making sure that it was going to remain solvent for many more years and decades to come. Now we're dealing with those effects right now as we speak, and we are clearly seeing that Social Security is a major issue right now, and a lot of lawmakers and the administration are talking about this and coming up with all these different plans, packages, bills, proposals, and details as far as what they can do to reform this program and make sure that they can continue to pay out all of the promised benefits. That's crazy, right? So you can clearly see it. Now, many other times in other videos here, I talk about the unemployment rate and labor participation rate and, the job market and stuff like that. And, sometimes I see comments down below saying, why do we care? Why are you talking about this? We don't care about this stuff. You can clearly see right here, this is why we care, okay? This is very important. Not only does the job market and the labor participation rate and all of those factors play a key role in the economy, but you can clearly see here as well when it comes down to Social Security. Now, why? Let me explain this for just another second here. It comes down to this, because if there's less people working, that means less people paying in through Social Security payroll taxes, and that means less money coming in through the trust fund. As we have people drawing on benefits and more beneficiaries coming in, filing for benefits, things like that. Again, according to the statistics, it's about 10,000 people that are becoming eligible for Social Security every single day. Not week, not month, not year, day. Every single day, 10,000 people. It's a lot of people, right? And do we have that many workers going out there into the workforce each day, getting jobs and paying in through Social Security payroll taxes to help support the trust fund? Not really, right? You can clearly see from all these numbers, this is a situation that has been years and years in the making. Realistically, it's been about 50 years in the making, right? Back in the 70s when it dropped down to 3.3%, and now here we are at 2.8%, right? Well, as of the end of last year, I should say. So here you can clearly see it's been 50 years in the making. Congress has known about this. They've seen this. The writing has been on the wall for 50 years. They could have done something about this years and years ago, but now that we're down into this situation, they're like, oh, maybe we should do something about it. Well, it means really? We could have made a solution for this 45 years ago, 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, even 10 years ago would have made a huge difference in this. But here we are, right down to the wire, and they're trying to figure out a solution to fix a 50-year problem. I'm sorry, but they're going to have to make some drastic changes here to get something done about this. Anyway, this is a major problem, right? This is not something that can be fixed overnight unless they print up a couple $1 trillion and plow it into Social Security and say, here's a couple $1 trillion and, just work on this for the next, couple decades. I mean, they could easily do that as well, but that's probably not going to happen, right? So anyway, I want to bring this to your attention. This was a study that was released, and I want to bring this to you because you can clearly see here this is a problem. I think any of us, whether we understand this to, a major degree or not, I think we can clearly see that it's just not happening, right? It's just not working, right? So the same thing happens with some pensions out there. Maybe you're somebody who's retired right now. Maybe you're receiving a pension. We see this a lot with pensions, the same thing, where, the people that were early on, way back in the day, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, things like that, the pension was fine. The pension was supporting maybe 10 workers, 10, 15, 20, 30 workers per retiree, people drawing on a pension. And now we're down into situations where the current workers can no longer sustain the number of retirees or people drawing on the pensions. It's the same thing with, private pensions as it is with Social Security. Same story that we're hearing about right now. So anyway, I want to bring this to your attention. When it comes down to it, you and your monthly benefit, I just want to tell you this much. Please don't worry about it. Right now, we've got nothing to worry about with our monthly benefit, but rather it's something we certainly want to pay attention to and we certainly want to keep up to date about because you never know what's going to come out of this. You never know what Congress is going to do about this. And again, it may impact us going forward. Therefore, we got to stay tuned with this, even though it's not going to impact our benefits right now anyway, maybe sometime in the future, but not for a very long time, years and years, probably 9 years at the most right now, or At the least, I should say, as of right now. Anyway, hope you found this to be valuable. Hope you found this to be interesting. I certainly found it to be very interesting. I like numbers like this because I feel like these are the numbers that we can all clearly see. The numbers tell the truth, right? The numbers show us what's going on here, and we can clearly see what's going on and the major problem with this program. Anyway, I'm here for you in any way that I can be. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, take care, and I'll catch you again later.